all. Part 3 of actual play, Girl by Moonlight on the Sea of Stars. We're gonna make our characters, right? Is that what we're doing?
I think so.
Very exciting.
So good.
Okay, let's talk procedure. Let me get my rulebook out. Blue. Where is the bit on? Here we go. So when making characters, start by pulling any relevant information from the series playbook. So your roles, that kind of stuff, because there are spots for it. And then, we'll also want to add our obligation, because there's a place for your obligation and its detail. So for us, obligation has to do with the intersection of the fact that we are pilots, right? So we're inside of a military institution where we are not, the generals or whatever. We are the people who go out and pilot the things, and that we are kept in line by
threats and
fear, and that we are these celebrated kind of almost sports celebrity hero figures for the society, who now we have this detail of there's some broadcasting of your activity. There are probably interviews. There's a bunch of propaganda that's built out of your stories.
It feels very Hunger Gamey, right? Like they're watching us suffer and be like, yeah.
And so everyone will have a slightly different niche within that kind of oppressive structure, where how in particular for your character, what threats do they choose to use against you? What's the place where they can put pressure on you? Or how is it that being a celebrity negatively impacts your life? You want to include a detail like that, and I will use that when we're describing what's causing you stress in the obligation phase. So some examples for this could be that you're the team captain, and so you get interviewed all the time and have to go to strategy meetings and provide testimonials, and that for you that's kind of horrifying, or just that you are insubordinate, so you get dressed down by your commanding officers continually, and there's always disciplinary action. You spend half your time in the break. That could be your obligation detail. And so you can use these as kind of jobs that you have, or ways in which the system kind of chafes against you and causes you struggles. So if you're the mechanic, they're always broken down, and they have these repair quotas that you have to meet, and so you never get to sleep because you're always fixing things. Stuff like that. Those are all some examples. So there's the obligation detail bit. And then from there, the next thing you can do is every playbook has certain action ratings that it starts with. And then you assign one extra dot on your sheet that relates to your role. And it goes to an action rating that has no dots assigned already. With the maximum for any action rating at character creation being 1, unless it's increased with a series playbook ability. And then you pick one special ability from your sheet and one transcendent ability.
And the action abilities are confess, forgive, perceive. Those.
Yeah, exactly. The various action ratings. Just like in Blades, where there's a category that gets fed by the actions in it, there are 3 attributes. There's moe, tsundere, and kudere, which are based on some Japanese tropes. Moe being the one for innocence and purity. Tsundere being the trope of it's lovey, fighty, basically, is the joke of it. So it's the whole thing of people liking you but being mean to you and all that stuff. And typically characters who are like that are very brash and very loud and very outwardly focused. And then there's kudere, which is a portmanteau of cool, and it's the cold lovey. So it's the trope is characters who are really distant and cold, but actually are empathetic and care. And so that's kind of what inspired those. But essentially, those are your 3 resistances. Moe is for despair and heartbreak. Tsundere is for violence and fear, and kudere is for panic and social pressure. To give you some context of what those mean. Forgive is when you acknowledge the wrong that someone has done and forgive them. So you could like walk up and hug the Leviathans and forgive them, and that could be an effective way of fighting them. I'm not even joking. Perceive is to see the world as it presents itself without judgment. And then confess is when you expose the inner world of your thoughts and feelings to someone without an agenda. You just like blab your feelings out. Express is to use your words with an agenda in mind. So that would be how you would like convince people of things, or if you're yelling at someone or whatever. I actually need to look at the list because I'm forgetting one. Defy is when you gather your courage and face opposition head on. So this would be a little like fighty one, but it could also be used for like getting up in someone's face and like challenging their authority could be defy, or like stealing things could be defy. There's like a bunch of ways where it work. It's not just like punching stuff. Empathize is when you feel someone else's feelings intuitively as if they were your own. Conceal is when you hide things. It could be your presence. It could be your thoughts and feelings. Flow is to move with grace and adapt to your circumstances. So you might leap across a gap to reach safety or act in accordance with others' expectations. So characters in high flow are able to like mesh well with what other people want them to be or to do. And then analyze is searching beyond the surface presentation of the world to discover secrets or hidden information. So it's kind of a counterpoint to perceive. They're both ways of looking at the world, but a character who is perceiving will see the like surface presentation of things and the kind of like the story that is being spun. So the way things that want to be seen, you'll see with perceive, whereas like shit that people are hiding, you'll see with analyze. And so those are all the actions. That's what they're all about. The character sheets, I believe, have...
Do any of them start at anything besides 0? I'm wondering if
for each playbook, there will be one that starts. There will be 2 that start at 1.
Got it.
You get one
So
more, but it has to go to 1.
Yep. If you mouse over the number box on your character sheet, there's like a little tooltip that will appear with a description of what the action is for.
Got it.
So if you need a little reminder, there's like a little tooltip in there. So those are the various action ratings. You start with 2 points assigned by your playbook, and then you can add 1 in any of the empty spots. There are also some crew abilities that will give everyone an option to add more. And again, we'll get into that down the line. Ooh. And feel free to like call out what you start with and what you're thinking of adding, and we can kind of talk about it and talk about what that might mean. And then, sorry, go ahead.
No, as a time traveler, I start with 1 in confess and 1 in analyze, and we're gonna assign how many more? 1 more.
You get 1 more.
Okay. And I think I'm thinking of putting it in flow of being able to, as the troubled captain, being able to appear as people want me to, and be able to sort of endure I think it is the ability to endure, or at least appear to endure, the sort of stresses of that.
Right. You don't let people know that
you're
troubled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As to mask that. That's where I'm.
Cool.
I'm feeling.
Great. Yeah. Feel free to jump in.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. I'm a guardian, which means that I start with defy and perceive, which is perfect. And then I also took express because I am apparently fiery tempered, and I sometimes...
Right, you're like defiant and let people know.
Yeah, exactly what I think of them. Yeah, it's exactly it. Sorry. I've got cute cat problems.
Oh, cute,
tragic.
Were we all so fortunate?
I'm allergic to cats, so I don't want cute cat problems. Or well, I have a very severe cute cat problem in that they make me sneeze a lot, even if they're really cute.
Well, a good reason to enjoy them over the internet then.
Exactly. This is a safe distance for me. It's good. Yeah, pet the chin. Yeah. So cute.
This is Nemo.
So remind me, Sean, you were on about what?
As the time traveler, I have one in confess and one in
Yeah.
analyze.
Mm-hmm,
And as my choice in reflection of being the captain, I took one in flow to be able to adapt to circumstances and appear
Nice.
as though I am under control and have things, fitting society's expectations.
Awesome. Super good. And then, Strash, you were saying that because you are a hothead who's gonna make and right? Do I recall that correctly?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Superb. And so that was that one in, was it Express?
Perceive, express, and defy.
Got it.
Tsundere is my big one, and
Mm-hmm.
physical threats, which is very much a hotheads kind of role.
Sure, absolutely.
And Andy, as the stranger, you
Yeah.
start with one in conceal and one in analyze.
Right. And I am thinking about adding one to empathize as the mechanic of sentient feelings creatures.
That seems really appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And also, I like that too because you're from the civilian world,
Mm-hmm.
where maybe you're not quite as hard-hearted as a lot of these like cadets and stuff. too.
Sure. And all of that ridiculousness that they get on about. Their rules and their clicky shoes and stuff.
The clicky shoes, very important.
Tiresome.
Okay, so now that we've all chosen some action ratings, everyone gets to pick one like core ability and one transcendent ability on their sheet. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so yeah, you have a list of core abilities and then a list of transcendent abilities.
Did you
from each category?
You talked about the obligation detail, but then we kind of jumped right to abilities. Did you want us to fill out the obligation detail?
Yes, and that's something that we can kind of talk about as we're getting it. Does anyone have like a clear idea for that?
I have one that's maybe not fitting in exactly with the setting, and it's more a personal one that aligns with threats and fears. I feel like I have two forbidden loves, honestly, and I feel like they can use that as a constant way to goad my character. One being the unresolved relationship with my previous engine, that they are more than happy to put in the hands of anybody else, that they're more than happy to beat up and destroy. And the other one being a very like restricted or constantly analyzed relationship with your character, Andy, where that we're
now that you're working together, you're not allowed to fraternize in that way.
Exactly. And it's always like on, because we're these sort of sports stars, it's like always in view. And so they perhaps they even like the source of that stress could even go so far as to being that they like pitting us together to see like how the chemistry goes, knowing that like it's,
in classic reality TV fashion.
Yeah, knowing that it's very uncomfortable for me. So I wanted to tie it to that.
That's super appropriate
like the things that I love being constantly denied to me, and but like shoved in my face, and like, you don't get to have this.
Well, and you like trying to pursue those forbidden relationships and keep them secret.
Yeah,
is like that's enough to make an obligation right there, right? That like you trying to get around all of the like observation and all of these like threats and order is gonna stress you out, and we can have some good meat there for showing that in the story.
So I am putting pursuing forbidden love.
Yeah, that's a great obligation. Yeah. Obligation is a little weird in this series just because we have this different framework for it, where it's like we're always pilots and we have that core thing, and then we get to find ways to twist and bend that role.
I've got
anyone else?
One.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a twofold aspect to this. I think one of them is that for whatever reason, at least in the current iteration, my character is kind of like popular on the charts or like whatever. Like I'm like the
You
I
have
don't
a
know.
really good storyline for like a weird sports reality TV vibe.
Yeah, and also maybe my Leviathan sickness isn't too like off-putting.
Oh,
Like
you're
it
the
doesn't
pretty
scare.
boy too.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like the hot head? It's always being risky. I mean, of
Oh,
course you're the
oh,
Yeah.
oh!
right?
Now my manifestation is hair made of fire. I'm a hothead.
Yeah.
You make for good TV.
I
Yeah.
do, and I think that so Andrew, I think it's got to be a girl because if I'm playing a magical girl game, I have to play a girl character.
Okay.
It's just like inherently in my brain. I can't. Like this is my one opportunity. If you ever want to see me play like an anime gal,
Yep.
so
This is where it's gonna happen. Great. If
Yeah.
you're excited about it, great. I would encourage everyone to play characters of whatever fucking gender you want.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also that like, you know, your like magical girl transformation could be like you're a boy and then you like become a fiery girl or whatever too. Like all of that shit is open for business.
Very Birdie the Mighty. Yeah, no, I think that I'm like the pretty one, and so like they trot me out to like do like fan related services where I have to like attend parties or the governor's daughter's quinceañera or I don't know. Like just I have to do a lot of this stuff, and one of the like I used to try and bucket. But I think one of the things is that they like perhaps handled me a lot by like cutting supplies or like reducing rations and stuff to my family.
They're like extra hard on you. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're literally holding like people that I care about hostage in a way, right? Like,
Yeah.
well,
They had to resort to
yeah, like
Yeah.
I think there was one time where I like lost my shit on camera after we got back from a mission where they were like trying to frame something and I was just like somebody else was bleeding and I just like lost it. And then like
Was it when the former pilot of the Chariot died?
Oh yeah,
Were
totally.
you out on that mission?
Yes.
This was in season 1?
Yes.
Were you like carrying the chariot back?
Yes.
The
Yeah, like
magician and
you're-
like using all the power of the magician. That's like what burned you out. Was like saving, you know, bringing the chariot back.
I think I was probably fighting whatever great villain at the end of season 1 was there, and like, but like, yeah, this was like devastating to me, right? And so like, but like they cut literally like food from, you know, my mom or dad. I think I have a dad and a younger sister or something, and I'm like my sister is like someday I'll be. I'm like no, you
No,
don't
no.
want this.
You don't want to be like me. Yeah.
But like they like literally just like remove food from them for a week or something, and it's just one of those things where I'm like.
Yeah, they finally found the right button to push.
Yeah.
And of course, yeah, you trying to rescue that person ruined the like self-sacrifice narrative that they wanted to push. So they had to cut a bunch of stuff out and doctor the footage a bunch. It was a lot of work for them. You got to think of
Right.
those poor editing teams.
They didn't have nearly the season finale they wanted.
Yeah, the weird like meta season show within show thing that we have going. We'll try not to lean into it too hard, but yeah, it's interesting that there's everything that y'all do is being spun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the betting pools and all the books were way thrown and people were furious. Super
Yeah.
good.
A lot of people lost a lot of money on you like bringing back the guy. They were like, he was technically alive when he came back.
Oh, what if the chariot was told that because of like the betting and stuff, they actually wanted the chariot to like lead a charge and they tried too hard and that's like why they like got hit as hard as they did?
Yeah, like the
That's
former
probably-
pilot was getting
yeah.
influenced by some of the weird.
Because if our goal is not to win, but just to keep putting on a show, like obviously they wouldn't want us to make the things that are the smartest move for fighting Leviathans. They'd want to make us the things the best for the numbers, the best for the charts,
Yeah.
the best for the fans.
I mean, it's still also a life or death struggle against the extinction of humanity, but there's like this weird
Right.
other pressure
but
that's
we don't have any hope that we'll win it. So we've
Yep. This all reads for me. Andy, do you have any thoughts about your character's obligation detail?
For sure. I obligatorily and unsurprisingly took the things feel core ability because it's a
Yeah.
great good. And my character being able to empathize explicitly with the engines has to navigate being able to conceal like this person isn't actually a mechanic. right? Like they're
You're as much like doctor slash therapist as you are mechanic.
yeah, and so arguably is using like doctor feels therapist magic skills, like a lot of that old versus new tech.
Yeah,
which
they
is
don't know
like-
how to classify your skill set, so they just call you a mechanic, but you're able to like engage
Yeah.
with the engine
Mhm.
in this way that other people can't.
So there's this like navigating being something that makes another version of like they don't understand why I need resources, how I use them. I make everyone all the more uncomfortable as like this like
Some job feels coming in here.
yeah.
What does your job do? Why do you need this? Why do you need these rocks? Like, look, it's very important. You don't understand. And like, yeah, we don't understand, so we're not going to give them to you.
Yeah, that.
And like mistrust of what your skill set represents. It's like kind of seen as a threat sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and
excellent.
also, if you ever show any kind of empathy or caring about the engines, like everyone else, like they're machines.
Right.
Exactly. No one else but you
Like, when
guys.
you like
use
rip off a piece of the hanging man and like stick on another one, you're like, that hurt it. It felt that. And they're like, whatever, rip, stick, saw, and
Mhm.
Yeah, they're handled in a very roughshod way, like they are things for the most part, and
Right.
yeah.
you especially treat them differently.
Yeah. I mean,
Great.
That.
cool.
That is good.
Cool.
Okay, so that brings us to you make up 2 NPCs that are connected to your character and record their names in the friends and enemies section. One will be a friend, the other will be a rival, enemy, bad person. Someone who does not have your best interests at heart, or accidentally does not do things that are good for, like, is a problem in your life for whatever reason. I don't want to go so far as to say enemy, like they're like, fuck you particularly, I'm here to get you, I'm bad. They're just like someone who is a thorn in your side in some way. Or it could be very directly, like this person hates me and is trying at every opportunity to like sabotage me or undermine me. Whatever you want to do there. So these NPCs don't overlap across characters in the sense that like you can't both have the same friend. Your characters all probably know all of these people that are connected to each other, but just like it is only Andy's friend with a capital F, right? This particular character, even though they might know Sean's character,
Mhm.
all are friendly. So everyone gets to just inject 2 NPCs into the world. Based on the stuff we've been talking about, I think there's lots of room for them to be people in the general public who are in some way, like a forbidden relationship where you're crossing that line of like, yeah, the like uncomfortable barrier of the lies that are spun about how your like Leviathan sickness is transmissible, because I'm sure it's not. And like, or at least not while you aren't transcended or out there like fighting stuff, right? Like, it's just something that keeps you guys isolated and under control.
Mhm.
So yeah, open season on you having friends who are anyone. And if you want to be like, my friend is the president, I'm like, cool, great. Your friend's the president. Doesn't bother me.
I think my enemy is our PR agent.
Yeah, I mean, I think that PR agent has like done awful things to you.
Yeah, like your handler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But she may be the handler for all of us. Just
Right,
Yeah.
for the whole team, but
she's not our enemy. Yeah.
I know for a fact that when she has a choice of something that's going to be less painful or more, she always chooses the more.
Yeah.
For
Well,
you.
it's also like
For me specifically.
yeah, there's like she's out to get you.
It sounds like you were the shining star. You were probably her favorite. She loved you, and then when you betrayed her, when you did something wrong, in her mind, betrayed, right? You saved somebody's life. When you betrayed her, that sounds like she turned.
I think I'm gonna have to pilot the chariot.
Oh, that's perfect.
I'm trying very hard not to say that my friend is the ghost of the last pilot.
Why not?
I think there's room for ghosts, and we were talking about, Sean, like your engine being haunted.
Yeah.
For a minute there too.
Yeah. I didn't end up going with it because I was trying to fit with the tarot, like the strength.
Yeah. But to my mind, it's not incongruous with our setting for there to be like weird ghost stuff. We have ancient gods that reawoke. Like,
I like the idea that people who die inside the engines linger.
Yeah, like it's
that there's a part
specifically
of
tied to
them
the engines.
that don't leave, right? They're ghosts.
Which implies that maybe the engine's personality or like identity is actually an amalgam of like everyone who's ever
of all of its pilots. Yeah. I certainly think that there are residual feels or residual thoughts that
Oh yeah, and that they might like speak to you using these ghosts. and stuff
Well,
like that.
it could also be unique, perhaps, because like they may have been transcended and fused when the person died.
Right, like a bunch of circumstances have to line
Yeah,
up for this kind of thing to happen.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for there being like ghosts and other weird stuff if we want to go there. It doesn't feel outside for me. So if you want to do it, cool.
Yeah, I think that's super strong, Josh.
Right on. We're just gonna go with it then.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
like it just the first thing
mean,
that comes to mind is a
and
good
like
thing,
and
yeah.
like it doesn't have to mean that there's like ghosts aplenty, right? Like, you know, that's the one that we know
we
about.
didn't choose a world of ghosts and demons,
Right.
but there can still be ghosts. So.
Andy, do you have friends and enemies that you have in mind?
I am sitting here thinking about, oh gosh, is inevitably where I'm at.
Yeah.
Things that I keep thinking about are having a character who, in being misunderstood, and like often questioned and miscontextualized, that there's someone in a position of power who sees this character as an opportunity, someone to pick on because of strength is might. And I don't know if that's like another team, another squad's captain, like whoever we're like, and so they make a point like that's as an enemy.
Because you have to fix other crews' engines as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's some like dirtbag, like pushy captain from one of the other squads who's always giving you a hard time and like grinding you for fixing their stuff first and like trying to get special treatment. That whole thing.
Yeah, that person's name is Bantam.
Great.
Nice. And Andy, could we talk for a sec about our characters?
Yeah.
Because I kind of want an NPC that is involved in that as well.
Oh, that's like tied up in it somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay. So I think the reason why it's forbidden is that we're now both engine pilots, right?
Huh?
I feel like that's the reason why it is forbidden. But perhaps when you were a civilian before you were an engine pilot, it wasn't. Or perhaps when I was sort of a freak of nature that came from the past, it wasn't. Like there was a point in which our relationship was okay, or has it never been okay? You know, I wonder where that fits.
At what juncture is it?
Yeah. Is it still nascent and it's never had a chance to blossom? And there's like this you know, we don't know what it would be like, or have we tried it and it hasn't worked out, or we tried it and it's been forbidden.
I am super into like it was a once upon a time thing, and so like there's like this, you know, the idea of like long ass time ago you're really tight with somebody and you keep growing and changing, and like you don't update your, like you don't have shared goals anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's this like bittersweet parting, and like we didn't ever see each other again, and then we're both pilots with all this like unresolved yesterdays.
Right, like the institutional powers jammed you together, whereas otherwise you would have just stayed separate and wouldn't have to go through this uncomfortable reconnecting.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of like who are you? I used to know you. I still care about you. Can I afford to do that? I have to. You're part of my team. I loved you. Maybe do I still love you? Probably. Should I?
There's the great thing too of you playing the stranger, Andy. So you can't go hang out with Sean's character. Like, there's all these barriers to your character being able to engage emotionally with the other characters.
Yeah.
It has to come from them to you.
I love that. I feel like it won't have any kind of emotional weight unless one of us is very strongly feeling like they want to explore that relationship, and I volunteer for that. Because as long as that's something you're comfortable with. Because I mean, like you said, you are the stranger, so playbook wise you have this sort of inability, but also I mean
she can still want it, but like the mechanics make it difficult for her to pursue it.
Yeah.
Which could be interesting. right? That you're like, oh, I really want to do this thing, but like I can't do it directly.
How? Yeah.
So
And y'all will get an opportunity to write promises to each other. And because we're playing with a crew of 3, you'll each have one promise directed at the other characters.
awesome.
So there's an opportunity there for you to characterize your relationship.
So
Which we'll get to, but it's good to have this conversation.
I feel like my enemy is I mean I feel like they can do this to us. My enemy is my stage girlfriend, my stage person I'm supposed to be with, and they are very closely tied to you.
Yeah.
Like a sibling or something like
right. This
really weirdly, and they're obviously not an engine pilot because they can't be, and but like it's all for show. But we have this stage.
And because you're not allowed to like touch them ever, it's this weird like chaste love where you have to like write letters to each other and they televise.
Right, and we see each other like across glass walls, and we're supposed to do all this like
there's this weird
fanfare thing. Would you want them to be tied to your character at all, or would you like them to be? I like the idea that they're, whether you're friend or enemy, they're also. I mean, obviously we know all of them, and it could certainly just be my stage.
They could be your stage girlfriend and Andy's character's or stage partner or whatever.
Stage
like
partner,
Andy's character's actual they're in like a romantic relationship.
Right.
That could be possible.
Yeah.
Let me. Oh gosh, I love the idea of it being connected, and I don't know which version, like what scope of escalation feels good. Like sibling is way like that's uncomfortable. Really and like the idea of this like really messy triangle of like affection is horrifying.
Yeah, where it's highly asymmetrical and like the lines only point in a like rotational orientation. No one
really wants the
yeah.
All right, so
that's my non-committal, like something in there sounds good.
Okay.
And yeah, like Sean is being nice and asking, but also
can just do it.
This is the bit where we get to make declarations and sort it out later if we want to play that way.
Yeah, I am. And
I am asking for something that you have emotional ties to, so I don't want to just be like.
I invite you to be a bit bossy if you're excited about it. How about?
Okay.
Because like a lot of these things, kind of definitionally, we don't get to have complete control over as people, and so can be productive to make that something we don't have direct control over as players to mirror that feeling.
So Estera is your sister then.
What is the name?
Estera.
Great.
And she is your sister. Yep. And she is still a civilian. She is not a pilot. Yeah.
Great.
And she's my enemy.
Yes.
Because it is entirely a maybe she wants to be something that I don't want, but it's
and also like it doesn't have to be that she deliberately wishes you ill. It's just that you have like a really problematic, complicated person that has been institutionally mandated.
I think at the simplest, she may have feelings for me, whereas I have feelings for Andy's character who may not, right? Like that's.
I have feelings for the.
the engines, yeah.
Great.
I feel like a retired pilot or something, or like involved in the program in some way. Like, because I feel like she can't just be like a complete outsider to this whole sphere.
Yeah. I feel like it would be something along the lines of the same sort of blast that that changed you and turned you into an engine and turned you into that tainted you with Leviathan sickness. That there are like the extremely rare cast of people that are totally immune to it, and so you and your sister were both sort of exposed at the same time.
Got it.
And she has shown no manifestations, and she is like,
but has to be kind of quarantined, right? Like she can't live with general society. She's
like a carrier.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so they give these
it's like a
people
patient.
jobs within the kind of Leviathan Hunter program
Right,
because they're safely able to engage with you guys, but they're not pilots.
right.
Mhm.
She would be, if she was a character, she would be the one that doesn't have the powers yet, but could get them later.
Like, yeah, maybe someone could play her in another
Nice.
season or something.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Nice.
that's another point. I don't want to dehumanize her and make her like not a person. She still has a
No,
person
yeah.
with feelings and
she's being as screwed over by the institutions as you
exactly.
because we're all trapped in this mess. I like the idea too. Yeah, that there's like 2 levels. There's you're exposed and it doesn't kill you, but you also don't get the like transcendent powers. And that's like most of the staff of the program have to be that. And then there's the extra special category that's you guys, where it's like you get the full on like manifestation.
Right. I mean, maybe they actually even for like not for Astera. I think Astera was exposed at the same time as your character was, Andy.
Mhm.
But maybe for like the staff, it's a thing where they like inject them with like
there's like a controlled way to expose
like
them.
It's a controlled exposure. Like this way they don't get you sick. You get this vaccine and it's like
they still have to pull you out of general population, but at least you can work in this program. Yeah, for sure. They definitely have a way of like doctoring it in too.
Yeah.
Cool. And now we have all the stuff of like, why would she volunteer for this program? Oh, maybe it's because her sister is here and she really just wants to be with her sister. Yeah, of course. Of course, that's why.
Definitely.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah. What a lovely character you have made.
Mhm.
I hope it is fun to have all these interactions.
Yeah, anyone else have any other NPCs they want to add?
I still owe you all a friend.
Yeah.
Right, because your enemy is Captain so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get y'all to run me through the names so I can write them down because I've been bad at taking notes this far.
Oh,
so
good.
That was Astera, Astera.
Estera.
Astera. Okay, cool. And what was the bad captain's name?
This person probably has some other less ridiculous name, but it's Bantam.
Right, Bantam.
It's Bantam.
Yeah. And that's like a call sign or something.
Yeah.
Josh, what was the name of the ghost of the X-Chariot?
Mm,
I mean, we should have a name for that person, whether or not there is a ghost. Either way.
Her name was Zyra.
So like Zyra.
Zaira is what I wrote.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Cool.
But I mean, spell it however you need to pronounce it correctly.
Well, I spell it with a Z because I'm Canadian.
Of course you do, and it's totally fine.
So
fun fact, first English I learned was British English, because that's what they teach you formally on the other side of the ocean. So it took me like 3 to 5 years to like actually lose the accent, and every once in a while it still slips out.
Yeah, the like little bits of inflection and stuff.
Oh no, I mean like somebody puts scones on the table and all of a sudden I'm all like, oh, scones, I love scones, and everyone just looks at me and I'm like, it happens.
If I spend a lot of time in association with British people, I get all of the inflection. It like creeps into my accent. It's really funny.
So Z is very natural for me. I had to actually train myself to say Z.
All right, any other names?
Warris, Worris, my friend, and they are my handler, like not a PR handler, like the person that like gets me like they're like a technician in the sense that like they get me like suited up and ready to get into the suit and like take like help.
Right, they like work very closely with you.
Yeah. You know, they've obviously been all these people that have like had been injected, and Warris has, it's a little bit of a uneven relationship because Warris sort of volunteered with like what is one of those people that are fascinated with the engine pilots. And
he's like a chaser kind of.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And
this is uncomfortable. Great.
Is that bad?
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's just also kind of squicky. Yeah.
It's a little squicky, yeah. So it's a
Yeah, he has
little,
this like kind of
it's a little
uncomfortable.
stalkery, a
Yeah.
little like.
And
Mhm.
you have rank on him because you're the unit
Oh
captain.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
he's like your assistant. He's like your squire, basically. is
Yeah,
what-
exactly. He's my Esquire. And the thing that Oris did for me that was notable and that kind of got my attention really was that one time he like shut off the cameras and like gave me like a few moments of peace.
Oh,
right?
he's a rule
He like
breaker.
sabotage the things, and like I kind of owe him. And it's not he didn't use it as like leverage against me or anything like that. But like after that, I was like, oh, thanks, you took care of me, and I appreciated it.
Yeah, he's like really nice to you, but it's because
Yeah.
he has this like fetishistic obsession
Yeah,
with
it's a
pilots, right? And so he's like a super fan.
yes,
Oh. Mhm.
right.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable.
And right, and he seems like a nice guy.
And I'm sure he like really is. He's just also like has this obsession that overrides his ability to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry, I used a bad word in describing that. We're just gonna refer to them as super fans.
And squicked out. Could have said fanboy. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's fair criticism from Ash. But like I see it through that lens as like because it's like a weird like culture thing. Anyways, yeah, we don't need to go into the guts of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Sometimes people are creepily obsessed with a certain category of people, and it's real uncomfortable. Cool. Anyone got any other NPCs?
Here, hear me out on this, y'all. I feel like my character has an inexplicable, like, low-key friendship, affable truce, keeps company in a similar way with a state-sanctioned bookie.
Nice. Okay.
I like that a lot.
I mean, they gotta have those, right?
Yeah,
You
right?
got to.
Because how else can you be a bookie other than by getting your license?
I mean, otherwise, who's going to control the flow of money?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to go to the state, to the war chest.
Correct. Every time. So I have an imagining that they it's not like my character has an office, but has a workspace, and somehow the two of them have come to like share space. Because that's what happens in these sorts of topsy-turvy, like, we'll just stick you here.
Yeah, totally.
So I have a bookie in my corner shop, right? Or like wherever all my tools are kept, sort of deal.
I think he is simultaneously the like bookkeeper they are simultaneously the bookkeeper and also the like accountant, quartermaster. Like they deal with kind of a lot of like the money logistics stuff, but that includes steps. And it's not like they do that as a shady thing. That's like an official part of their job.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because of course the crews that work with you also bet, mostly for the home team, but sometimes they bet against the home team.
Every time, right?
That whole like competitive culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's other teams, so there's not just like how we do against the Leviathans, it's how we do in comparison to them, and there's sort of league level
Absolutely
stuff, right? So I wonder where the bandwidth, or then I wonder how narrow the space is to which you could be like, well, I could justify, somewhat sabotaging one of the engines so that this one pilot didn't do as well, so that this other pilot got a better rating, so long as they still, like survived and defeated the Leviathan, right? So long as nothing really, really bad happened, we could, effectively like throw the race kind of thing. I wonder like how far that gets inched along, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's that brinksmanship around it, right? Of like,
right, because I'm sure it just starts with like, well, we'll just give the best opportunities to people we like, right? Like that's like the least kind of corrupted version of it, and then you could see it like
it drifts,
grading and drifting, and like it just going to awful spaces.
Cool. So, what is the name for this bookie person?
Oh gosh, I think this bookie's name. Oh, it's Beaumont.
Beaumont.
Beaumont. Beaumont.
Cool. And sorry, I need to double check. We've got pronouns for some of these people. And I just want to double check. So Astera, she, her, Warris, he, him.
Mm-hmm.
Bantam,
She, her.
she, her. Great. And Beaumont,
She, her.
cool. Zira was also a lady, if I recall correctly.
Sure. Yeah. Sounds
Yep.
good.
And is that going to be your friend, the ghost of
Yes.
Zira, the deceased pilot?
Cool.
Syra.
Cool.
But yes.
Or sorry, Zyra, yeah. Who is your
My PR
right,
agent.
right,
My
your
nightmare PR agent.
your person.
Your nightmare PR agent is like, I mean, horrible, but also like very fun to hate.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is like the team, like the administrator for the team, who handles all the like league stuff and like some other logistical, like managerial stuff. Like they're not the captain. They're like, yeah.
Right. We haven't actually like really talked at all about like military structure. Like I thought about saying like our captain or, you know, like, or anything.
Yeah, the like general or whatever in charge. I mean, they'll come up as
right. But it's funny because we haven't like taken any ties to, you know, people that are like strictly in the in our chain of command, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like adjacent to
And sorry, Strash, what was that person's name?
I've changed it like 6 times. I think I settled on Raym, R-A-Y-M, and it's we'll go with the guy because we've had I don't want to just have like everybody be a lady.
Why not?
I kind of do. Anyways,
No problem. Totally change it. I actually didn't have an attachment. I just did it because I was like.
I say that as a joke in like the world at large. It would be nice.
No. We're totally
right.
changing it. Her name is No.
Okay. Her name is No.
Yeah, it's totally based on Diebuster, but like I just looked at the list and it's the name that jumped out at me because you have a name list that I think I may be the other one using it.
I mean, that's fine. Like I'll use it during play when I have to come up with people and stuff. So
all right, cool.
yeah, Strush, it's funny because I looked at the name list and I was like, I want to leave those for when I need to come up with a name in game and I don't have time to think about it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Also,
not to say we shouldn't use them, but
I had a brainwave during one of the breaks, which I then forgot about, which is that because we are under strict population control, I think there is a state, like the state elevates homosexual love really aggressively because it is never going to accidentally make a baby. Mm-hmm. So like there's lots of like people doing gay stuff all the time, and it's like seen as being very noble in a like classic like Greek way where they were like, oh yeah, like get down with dudes, it's great. It's like a more kind of pure and essential like camaraderie kind of romance. Yes. So I think that's like a big theme in the society. And it's viewed as being very like socially responsible.
Sacrifice is part of it, so
yeah, you gotta like give up doing reproductive.
Yeah,
you gotta do the non.
McTacky said so pro-gay but anti-trans then.
Not necessarily.
I don't know. I don't know that that's inherently anti-trans, but I could see some.
They're just like, don't have sex in a way that's going to make babies, and that would be best for the state. And so, yeah, like maybe there are a bunch of ways in which people's bodies kind of transgress against a standard like, gender like heteronormative structure. But basically, they're like, yeah, just get down with people who you're not going to accidentally make babies with.
Yes, on a
so there's a lot level. Yeah. So this is something I'm throwing out into the world just to keep things nice and queer, and I don't know. I feel like it's interesting as a like it follows from the fiction in a fun way. So, anyways, some details. So No is your shitty like team manager. I think y'all are on a team.
Of course we are.
And she is like the team manager. Yeah. No is maybe even a nickname that is somewhat
I dig it.
Somewhat derisive.
Yeah.
Because whenever we try to do something fun, it's No.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, that's the joke.
Captain No.
Who coined this nickname? Was it Zara? Or was it you? Yeah.
I totally give people nicknames. That's like my thing. Excellent. I feel like it's my sworn duty.
Okay, so I think the last stuff we need to do for character creation at this point is, and we can kind of do this as we're going around. So we go around the table, we introduce our character, describe their look, talk about your action ratings and abilities if you haven't mentioned them yet, so other people know, so the other players know what kind of person your character is, and then we're going to write down 2 promises on our sheet. Each promise will focus on a different member of your crew. You write one for each prompt, and you earn XP during play by working towards and keeping your promises to each other.
I know we're moving on, but can I add one last thing about No, because I think
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think I attempted to nickname her in a derisive manner, but she's owned it and turned it into her like little catchphrase, and now she taunts me with it every day.
Yeah, so she's very savvy then.
Yes.
Right, like she's actually good at her job, and it's just that
she's turned that around. I want to do a time check because we were planning on going till about now, and it seems like we only have a couple other little things to do, but I don't know if folks are needing to retire or if
we could let this all stew and just do promises at the start of our second session and then go into play if we want. It's totally fine.
Yep. What sounds good to what are folks' energy level like? I am okay.
Through the roof, but I am totally okay with
I'm good for my part. Either way, like I could stop and pick this up next time, and I feel like it's as good to have as a way to wrap up as it is to have as a way to like springboard into play. So I think either works.
Let's see. I am in a similar place to y'all. If y'all are stoked and want to keep going, great. I would also, I know, benefit from like, I'll sit here and think about these things because I always think that's a good plan. Either way.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's pick up next session where we start making promises to each other.
Yeah, we can kind of think on it.
Absolutely. So that was our first session of Girl by Moonlight. We don't have our characters' names. We don't know our characters' names yet.
I do.
I do.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do that then.
Do you?
No, but I will find out what her name is.
Okay.
We'll see. I might be stealing one off the list right now.
Well, I am actually not taking a name off the list. My character's name is Arya, and she's got hair that's made out of like some sort of semi-solid fire, like glows in the dark, and probably has cat eyes. And yeah, so she's the fiery pilot of probably the chariot. We'll see.
So
it makes
good.
Perfect sense to have a fiery.
Yeah, it's the chariot of the sun and everything. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Nerds. Yes. yes, we are.
So good. I have no idea what my character looks like. However, I know that her mundane name is Abbott and that her true name is Ipsos.
I wasn't sure if we had true names. I'm excited now. I'll have to come up with one.
So everyone has a mundane name and a true name, and you each have prompts for them, which are there both to like help you pick a name, but also to like characterize your name and its cultural context. So we don't need to call those out right away, but like something to think on. And once we, it's like part and parcel with your look and all that stuff. It's going to formulate how people see you.
Oh, cool. So the time traveler's mundane name is an anachronistic name or a clever name, and the true name is a historical name or an ominous name. All right. Pat already pointed out that a lot of my names are very bladesy anyway, which, yes, it's true. And there's a certain blade-like quality of the names that I tend to think of. Oh, man. We'll find out my character's name next time. I don't want to last minute.
Don't shortchange yourself.
That's something that I'm going to go, because I'm sure I would change it. So, but cool. We know 2 out of 3 of our names. Or 2 out of 6 once we get to 3 out of 6. I'm excited. I'm excited to play more. We'll be back in a couple weeks to finish this up and do our first adventure. Thank you all for playing this wonderful game. But before we go, why don't we all say you know, what we're up to these days, and where people can find us on the internet and all that stuff. Andrew, what's going on with you?
I'm Andrew. You can follow me on Twitter at Comedian Crow or on twitch.tv/actualfactual. I designed this game, and I say designed in past tense. Really, I'm still designing it. It's kind of in its like beta phase, so this is part of playtesting. My whole process of designing it was streamed, and you can watch VODs of it on my YouTube, which is all accessible by way of my Twitter profile. So if you're keen to see how this all came together, you can check that out. And also I appear as a cast member on various roleplay shows, including twitch.tv/D&D, Roll20 app, twitch.tv/Asediac. So you can find me all over the fucking internet playing role-playing games, doing stuff.
And Andrew, if somebody wants to find Girl by Moonlight, is it available for other people to playtest?
Yeah, it's pinned to my Twitter. Just go there, it'll be the first thing. There's a link to the Google Doc that includes a link to the PDF for all the character sheets and playbooks. And so you can play this game, you can play test it, you can let me know how terrible it is. There's a whole process for that available online. And I encourage you to do so if you are interested. Yes.
Cool.
Super good.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Hi, my name's Andy. You can find me on Twitter as Fictional Mammal. And this is wonderful and good, and I want to keep doing it. And this is probably the only place on the internet where you're going to see my face. So come on in and I'll hang out with you. Thank you all for being here.
Awesome. I'll jump in next if that's okay.
Yes, yeah.
Hi, I'm Strash, which you probably know because my name's probably like right under my little portrait and the Twitches.
It is now. There we go. Well, we've had the Roll20 screen up the whole time, but now it is.
So you can find me on Twitter at Strashe, which you can again see right there. Things that you should be aware of. I am one of the authors of Scum and Villainy, which is a Forged in the Dark game about scoundrels in space, and you can find that in my profile, linked from it. And there is a new game showing up that I've been working on really hard lately called Band of Blades, which is a dark military fantasy, sort of in the vein of the Black Company books. And if you're interested in that, before it's released in beta, which will be soon because we've got art and some editing and other stuff happening, I will be streaming a show of that where I will be GMing it on Kelsa Delphi's channel on Sunday. So keep an eye out on that for that. And if you also like military things, I think John Harper is running 316, and I'm one of the cast members on Eric Bulgaris' channel. So got some stuff that's happening in my life. And Sean, what about you?
Yeah, I'm also streaming on Eric Bulgaris' channel sometimes. Playing Torchbearer over there, but the rest of my games are just right here. We're going to be doing more of this, which is very cool. More Blades, and starting in February, we're going to be playtesting Agon 2nd Edition, in which I get to be the GM for John Harper. So that will be, and also Karen Twelves and Nadja Odeker. I mentioned John's name because I'm intimidated to run for the designer, but
it's gonna be very low key, low stakes. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be very low stakes. That's the nature of Agon. But come to find us as we quest for glory. That'll be great. In my other taunts, I work for Evil Hat, and we just announced a game, Greedy Dragons, that we're coming out with next month that I'm very excited about. And next month we'll also be announcing another game that we're going to be releasing that I'm really excited to announce, but can't say what it is yet. But it's going to be great, and you're all going to be really excited about that too. So good times. You can find me as Sean Nittner like everywhere on all the places. So with that, thank you all in chat for hanging out with us and your great ideas and keeping us in check. And thank you, Andy and Andrew and Strash, for this wonderful, amazing game that we're playing together.
My pleasure.
All right. Bye, all.